Hey everybody, welcome to Little Monsters Movie Podcast with Dino.
Hi, I'm Ted.
Yeah, and hey, we are doing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original.
Texas serious movie.
Yeah, and it's, Gunnar Hansen passed away, rest in peace, so that's why
he was the inspiration. And, Marilyn Burns, who played Sally, she died last year. So
did she really?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Year, so
unfortunately,
kind of fitting. I think Gunnar Hansen dying was certainly the inspiration.
Yeah.
Not to jump on any kind of a bandwagon or whatever, but it's something that we would have done eventually anyway. But why not now?
Oh yeah, and this is this is classic horror. This is probably one of the best horror movies out there.
It's disturbing.
I don't think it's
disturbing. There's nothing supernatural in this.
Total horror.
This is all something that could happen for real.
Exactly.
And things like this
do
have happening because when we get into the whole idea of Leatherface and Ed Gein and everything.
I was going to mention that.
There's more Ed Gein references in this movie than there was in Psycho, which really was based on Ed Gein.
Right.
But I find this film to have way more.
Way more, yes.
Yeah.
They throw out the grave robbing, the Leatherface, of course, with the whole skin of and the place just being, their house just being filled with bones and skulls
and things made out of human
which
parts.
is taken right out of Ed Gein.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this has way more. Even though Psycho, Norman Bates, it's more of the mental state and the mother thing.
Yeah.
This is Toby Hooper said, the ghoulish part, man.
Right.
Dig it up. And the father going, they almost caught you digging up those
I know.
Give it up, you almost got caught. But
it's got a storied history. It was banned in a lot of countries. I think if we have any viewers in England, I think it got caught up in the video nasties there in the 80s. It had a hard time getting released uncut. And he actually strove to make this a PG-rated movie.
Really?
There's really... a lot of people back then, when they come out, it's like, oh, it was so gory, it was so bloody, it was so horrible. There's really next to no blood in this movie. Everything happens either off camera or you don't see it. And it's
even when he's taking the chainsaw, cutting up Kirk, on the table, sprawled out there, you don't see. You see him with the chainsaw and stuff, but and even with not Sally, but Pam up on the spike. You don't see the spike, but you see her wriggling around. So it is just, there's still slasher stuff. When he drops the hammer down on his head.
But it was good. But, I think this particular horror, I think it would still get an R rating. But he actually tried to get a PG rating. He thought if he toned down on the gore and the blood, he'd get a PG rating. And maybe back then you would have, but it was just so intense.
Oh, my gosh.
And just... the feelings that it evokes. It's not a feel-good movie. You can watch a Jason movie or a Chucky movie or a Halloween movie and just have a few laughs. There's not many laughs to be had in this film.
No, we try to give a little bit of humor here, and
I'll find some.
I probably still will joke here and there because that's just how we are. But
how about the beginning of the film? He opens up with a narration by John Larroquette.
John Larroquette, okay.
John Larroquette said I
didn't know that.
You didn't recognize John Larroquette's
I didn't recognize the voice. Well, I'm sitting there watching the image of so I don't
know if it's true, but I read that he was just paid one joint.
No way.
One joint.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
1974, right?
Yeah. Okay. It was 1974. It states it takes place in 1973, but it doesn't say it's a true story. But the way that it makes it almost sound like this is a retelling of something that actually happened.
And I think most people, when they seen this, especially when I was younger, I actually did think this was based on a true story or something like that. So, technically,
a lot of the Ed Gein stuff's in there, but not this exact situation.
Exactly.
But it was because the beginning of the film, you just hear. And another thing I got to say right off the bat, there's really next to no music in this film. It's just sounds.
Yeah, sounds.
And I don't know if it was on the Blu-ray extras or whatever. They talk about how they used sounds that animals would hear. Like they recorded the sounds inside a slaughterhouse.
Right. Okay,
and the sounds that animals would hear, and maybe used electronics to tweak them and change them around a little bit.
Yeah, you can hear that.
There's not really much in the way of music. It's just these sounds that are real uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They put you on edge. They're just little things in the background and very effective.
Yeah,
they're, enough to make you feel uncomfortable. And there's other people do. I mean, in some of Marilyn Manson's music, there's that. In David Lynch movies, he does stuff like that. Right. Like Eraserhead and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just sounds.
Well, everything about this movie is just very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I mean, and then dead stuff laying around.
Well, the beginning of the film, when you hear the digging, you hear digging and grunting.
Yes.
And then you start seeing the camera flash and desiccated body parts. And then it goes to daylight and you see, two corpses kind of like, entangled on top of a gravestone.
Yeah. And the news says...
that's another thing that lends to the realism.
Yeah, the news, the narration, like the radio going and all that. And,
right.
And you see
parts of the corpses had been removed. Saying in some cases only parts of the corpse had been removed.
Well, the corpse is on a giant tombstone-like thing. Like, I'm trying to keep this PG, but straight up is, he just speared right on the tombstone.
Or, I don't know, wrapped around it, or I can't tell how they did it.
But just very, and they said only certain body parts were taken.
Right.
Which lends, credence to the Ed Gein too. I mean,
that's what he would do.
Really, he went deep into, I think, information on the serial killer. So it's,
the only other thing I kind of read is the idea that gave him the idea of the chainsaws. One day he was in the hardware store and it was all crowded, and he was just thinking of a way to get through all these people and fire up a chainsaw.
No way.
Yeah, I read it.
How could I plow through these people to customer service? A chainsaw,
So, I mean, that's how the film opens. And I also have to say that one thing that makes this film different than other horror films is that not all of it, but a lot of the really bad things that happen in broad daylight. Which is kind of like how it is in real life.
Yeah.
Most of these kids get it in broad daylight, this stuff happens. And I think that just makes it different. It's hot. It's Texas.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if it's dark, it's just any place. But when it's hot and the day, the sun is shining bright, that's Texas.
And you introduce the characters.
Oh yeah.
You
start off with the dead armadillo in the road, and you see the van coming down the way.
And they pull off the side of the road, and they got to let Franklin.
That's right.
Out.
My favorite part, right away. All right, Franklin's the guy we're going to make fun of a little bit.
Yeah, he's annoying. Anyways, he's handicapped or not, but it takes these kids are on the road.
I'm very politically incorrect, so yeah.
In their van, they're traveling. It's Sally, Jerry, Franklin, Kirk, and Pam.
Sally and Franklin are brother and sister,
right? And Sally's the main character who throughout the movie, and
her boyfriend is Jerry.
Yeah.
And then there's Pam and Kirk.
Yeah, they're two other. Yeah.
And they're going to the cemetery where their grandfather is buried.
Right.
After all these news stories, a lot of people are wondering if their loved ones have their graves have been disturbed.
Yeah.
So that's
but you got it opens up though where the van pulls off the road and Franklin's got to get out of the, and you could tell
take a leak.
Yeah, you could tell they like him. He's one of the group, but they're
annoyed by him.
He's annoyed and he's troublesome, but they
and he's frustrated with his own condition.
He is. I mean, they let him out and they push him down to the thing.
And he's got his coffee can.
Give him the coffee can. Take the leak.
They're trying to go. Well, he's going to dribble it all over himself.
Oh, and Ted, who hasn't done that in the coffee can? I mean, I got one on the side of my bed. Who needs to get out of bed?
They got nothing to wash that can out with. They're going to put that pissy smelling can back in the truck, and it's hot. There's no air conditioning in here.
It goes like this.
Well, yeah.
Throw it
and I love a semi goes by and kicks up some dirt, and it startles Franklin. He goes tearing on that.
He crashes and tears
up his wheelchair. There ain't nobody watching this movie that's not laughing at that part.
No, it's funny.
And he's unhurt.
Yeah,
just his pride.
He's got scrapes down the side of his
shoulder. Yeah, he's got all kinds of stuff. I thought it was psoriasis or something.
Yeah, it looked kind of like that. But
man, get some cream, some porcelana or something.
So they
oil of Olay.
Oil of Olay.
Yeah, so they get to the cemetery.
Yeah.
And they go. Sally goes to check the grave.
Right. Yeah. Says her grandfather's in here, and the guy goes, "You mind if I take your girl for a walk here?"
Yeah.
And meanwhile, there's hicks and rednecks sitting all around the place, and one guy sitting on some like thing.
It's like a tire. I think he's just sitting on a tire.
Yeah, and he's drinking.
And he's a drunk.
Yeah, he falls over on his back.
He says something kind of cryptic, though.
Yeah.
You know, what is he say? Something like, I see
things. I know
they don't. Yeah, he's like, I know things. Meaning that he probably saw what was going on in there. And, you know, maybe they didn't see the drunk guy, but...
This dude looks like a circus freak.
Yeah, but I love, you know, when he says that, he's just laying there with this bottle of beer and going, nobody listens to the old man, but I seen things.
And meanwhile, the cinematography, the movies all through it is great. Mm-hmm. And you know, a camera's looking down at this guy on his back with his head upside down, saying this, and yeah,
interesting angles in a lot of shots.
Yeah, it's Tobe Hooper. I mean, this is a good.
And this was one of his first movies. He did a a little psychedelic type movie. I've never seen it called Egghead before this.
Okay,
but this was kind of like, you know, his first, you know, film after that. You know. Theatrical film, I think. Yeah,
and probably one of his best. I mean, it's got to be.
I mean,
it is his best.
He's made lots of film. I mean, you know, he made, you know, probably the next best one is probably, you know, remember the TV miniseries Salem's Lot?
Right.
He did that.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And he's done lots of that.
But this is just iconic. I mean, you know,
right?
As in, same with, you know, Freddy. Jason,
it doesn't even go.
I mean,
when you're young and hungry, you know, you get those ideas. And you know, this was just a different time. You know, it was Gonzo filmmaking. You could do things without a studio. I mean, you still can. Yeah. But just hardcore.
Yeah. And they get back on the road and. You know, they're kind of whining and complaining. You know, Franklin's just one of those.
It's so hot.
Yeah, I can't believe this.
He's got his shirt all unbuttoned. I just can't take it.
And then up ahead they see a hitchhiker.
And I love
they think a hitchhiker.
Oh, let's pick him up. Yeah. The old days, right?
Right, let's pick him up.
And I love when they finally get a look at him. It's Pam who says, she's like, oh, he's weird looking. No.
Yeah, don't.
Should have listened to her.
But they pick him up and he gets in a car and this dude is just...
Whoa.
Yes, I mean, I would have not opened that door.
And I know this was that weird birthmark.
I don't know. Face. Yeah, who knows? But these guys, this is the youngest of the trio of the crazies.
The Sawyer family.
The Sawyer family.
Is, you know, Leatherface's family, Texas Chainsaw Massacre family.
Yeah.
We don't know that yet, but I mean, yeah, he's weird. He's got some animal skin pouch,
little pouch, and he's. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. And I just to go, I forget the fellow's name who plays this guy that they picked up. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it took about 4 weeks. 7 days a week, no days off, 12, 16 hours a day shoot for this. It was at least 100 degrees every day. It was a really hot summer. At night, it would only be about 80 degrees. Oh. And these guys were all miserable.
Oh, added
like
to
the costumes that they wore. Mm-hmm. I mean, even just these regular clothes that they're wearing. They only had one set.
Say, I didn't
they never they couldn't wash them because if they wash them, what if they got faded or, you know, it didn't match, you know, sweat stains, if it didn't match. So they all had to wear the same clothes. Stinky clothes. But this fellow that they pick up, this hitchhiker, I forget his name, but he said that this shoot was so miserable. It was the worst experience of his life. And I read a quote where he said, and I was in Vietnam. And let that just tell you,
really?
That making this film was worse than his experiences in Vietnam.
Holy Moses! Wow, and that goes to show you. Yeah,
he said he would never do a film with Tobe Hooper again. But I think everybody was just miserable. You know, it's hot.
Yeah,
you know,
and this is Tobe Hooper's first stint at making a movie really like this of this caliber, and he's. You know, how's he to know? You know, and he's trying to make it perfect. You know, making sure.
At the same time, you're trying to get the money to make it. You know, they were selling shares of the company and trying to get money. And, you know, I mean, it didn't cost a lot of money to make. And it made like 10 times what it cost to make. But still, when you got nothing, you know.
You got this crazy dude in this vehicle. He starts acting.
Let's get back to this dude.
Wackiness. And he...
before they pick him up, they smell something.
Right.
And Ring's like, you know what that is? That's the old slaughterhouse. Granddad used to work at that slaughterhouse. They used to take them sledges and whack the cows with them.
And he's like, nowadays they just put a little gun and shoot
they got a bolt gun. Phew, bam, and it retracts.
And Sally's
bam, and it retracts.
Yeah, and Sally's she's just like,
and they're all like, I like meat. Can we not talk about this?
Yeah.
And so this ties into when they pick the guy up.
Because Franklin's relatives they're here, I think, because Franklin's grandfather or father or something had a home up there.
It was their grandfather's home, which is like right next door to where this crazy family lives.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And but now his father owns it, but for whatever reason, it's the two kids, the brother and sister, that were going to investigate. They're going to check the grave out, and then which they did, and it turns out it was undisturbed, thankfully. And they're going to go up to the house, so kind of visit the house, and there used to be
knows the area.
Used to be a swimming pool, like a creek swimming hole.
Yeah. So they kind of know the area, and what ends up happening because Franklin's got this little knife.
They asked the guy if he works at the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
I used to work there.
I used to work there.
And he asked him about that gun. He's like, no, the sledge.
That was better.
Killed them better. He's like, that gun, you lose people their jobs.
Yeah.
But that's how he talks. It's.
Oh, they're all crazy.
And the actor, I think, even said he kind of based him on a like a nephew of his or something, that kind of like an annoying nephew. And that's how he talked. And he's
crazy.
Yeah. And
he
goes, knife you were talking about.
Yeah, and
Franklin's got a little pocket.
He brings out pictures to show all them.
Dead cows all dressed out.
Because this is what I did. This used to be my job. I lost my job here. This is what it is. And then Franklin's got the knife, and he goes. He takes the knife from him. He asks to borrow it or something like that.
He just takes it from him.
Yeah, and he takes his hand and he just slices it and cuts his hand, and just blood is all over. And meanwhile, he's going,
and he sees that no one's smiling. And I have a knife. He pulls a freaking straight razor out of his sock. It's a good knife. Everyone's just like, yeah, man. I think it's a good knife. Yeah, it is.
And this is from like the Seinfeld show. Hold on, I'll tell you that in a second. But he brings out his camera too. And takes a picture of Franklin.
Right, and it's an old school
Polaroid type thing. And he's sitting there waiting. He pulls it open. He gives it to him, and he goes, "That'll be $2."
Yeah, it's a good picture.
It's a good picture, $2.
Yeah, Franklin's like, "It didn't turn out very good, did it?
It didn't turn out very good." He goes, and he gives it back to him. He says, "I ain't giving, basically ain't getting $2."
Here, you can have it back.
Yeah, and
he burns it. He
gets mad.
He's got a whole kit.
Yeah, he gets mad and opens up aluminum foil, puts a picture down, puts some granules to start a fire.
It's a gunpowder, right?
Yeah.
Or pellets from a buckshot shell.
Yeah. Lights it, burns it, and rolls it up. And
it's on fire, and he's going like this.
Yeah, this dude's a lunatic.
Yeah, and then he takes his straight razor, and just for the hell of it, just cuts Franklin's. Now, that straight razor can't be that sharp. All right, my dad collects those.
Yeah.
That'll slice you to the bone.
Oh, yeah.
I
was thinking when I seen that. I mean,
and all they do is wrap a dirty old rag on it, and it's fine the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
But that would cut you, if it was sharp.
Right.
It would cut you right down to the bone.
And I'm sure it is, because this guy is...
He'd have bled to death right there.
Yeah. Yeah, you got your halls with you?
You know what? I'm getting over a little cold, little tickle in my throat. I don't want to be coughing on you guys. I don't want to spread my germs on you.
We're used to it, though. But anyways, they
kick him out. They kick him. They throw him out of the truck.
Yeah, they just toss him out, man.
He's got that blood. He's rubbing something on the van. He's not writing anything, but it comes up later on.
Right? Yeah, they think it's some kind of like
symbol. But he's kicking it.
He's kicking a car.
But he's telling him. He's telling him, like, before they picked him up. They're talking about, all the things they make. No, I'm sorry. When they picked him up, he's talking about how they used every part of the cow. He's like, they scrape everything off the bone, and then they boil it up and make cheese out of it. Head cheese.
Head cheese, that's right.
Which was originally going to be the name of the movie. Head cheese.
That's right, yeah.
That was one of the early names of the movie.
Oh.
And
Franklin was saying, I like head cheese.
Yeah, you'd probably like it if you didn't know what it was. Or what was in it.
Head cheese. Oh, man.
And, they're talking about that. And he invites him over. You're gonna take me to my house. My brother, he makes it real good.
I'm just right around the corner here.
And they're like, no, we're in a hurry.
Yeah, we'll drop you. If you're so close, you can just walk from here.
Yeah, they even said that to him. It's like, well, if it's that close, man, can't you just walk?
Yeah.
Throw him out.
This guy. Oh, and they're they're relentless when all this goes down. But anyways, yeah.
Then they stop for gas.
Yep. and the gas station
ain't got no gas.
Yeah, well, the guy's sitting there, just some weird dude just sitting there.
He seems like he might be kind of slow.
Yeah, just looking up. You think?
Well, just he's just enjoying looking at.
Yeah, he's not saying nothing. He's just looking at the ground, looking at the sky. They pull up. He goes and washes the thing, and when he says I got no gas,
it's almost like the guy who runs place is telling him, stop.
Yeah.
Don't wash their windows. We ain't got no gas.
Yeah. And and they start.
He tells them they won't have any gas till like later in the afternoon.
Yeah, and Franklin's asking about the house if he knows where it's at. And stuff
I think it's down that road back there, but I don't remember. I talk pretty well like him, don't I?
Yeah, you do. Get the heck out of here!
And the guy who runs the gas station.
I can't remember their names, but anyway.
Honestly, I don't think they even had names.
Yeah.
I think in the credits, I think he's just hitchhiker, and I think he's just old man.
Yeah, there you
the
go.
guy you're talking about.
But I'll call him the father because he's the father, Leatherface, and the younger hitchhiker guy, and then Grandpa's upstairs. But
he's like, I think I might have seen that place.
But he's kind of like telling them it's probably not a good idea.
Well,
to go up there.
Them girls don't want to go up.
They don't want to go. So he's kind of like telling them, "Hey,
why don't you just come in, have some barbecue, and head on back?"
Because you can tell later on that this guy hasn't.
He's twisted, but maybe not as twisted. Yeah,
but once he's confronted with the situation, he can't help but to torture, get it out, and which comes up a little bit, and but he's basically
trying to get dissuade him from even going up there. He's giving him that chance.
Meanwhile, you got two of these 70s gals. One's got just the shorts and no back going.
Pam in a red shirt. Damn.
Shit! Did they give? I'm sorry, guys. Did they give boob jobs back then?
Because it probably existed, but
Sally looks extraordinarily unreal.
Some girls are just gifted.
Those are okay. Anyways,
I think that's all natural there.
Wow.
I do. Because these aren't big actresses.
Yeah,
they ain't never done films and stuff like that before.
Who knows? But anyways, the girls are talking, and
Jerry's gonna go get him some barbecue.
Yeah,
and Kirk and Franklin are in the car,
and it's probably flesh or something, or organs or something.
I think it's regular barbecue.
You think so?
You never. If you start going
Franklin when he does bring it back for Franklin takes a bite out of it, and he makes his face like.
I'm thinking he's thinking it's pretty good.
You would think, but to me it looked like he's like.
I'm thinking he's not selling human meat to people, but
who knows? I know it's not like they say, but they get ready to go anyways and head back up to the
van. Man, I think that's some of that guy's blood there on my knife. What do you think? Yeah, that's blood, all right.
Yeah, that's blood. There's a little bit of blood.
That takes something and he's right. That takes something to just take a knife and just cut yourself like that.
Yeah, he's questioning it. Like, I can't believe that guy did that.
And you think he's going to follow us, or you think? I don't know. You think he says something like, you think he got mad at something I said? He just tells him, Franklin, you're crazier than he was.
They're just like, you're
and then
crazy,
I think it's Sally that mentions that, hey, he rubbed. Blood on the van. It's like, what? You did something to the van? You did something to the van? What'd he do?
What did he do? Some kind of.
And he starts getting nervous. Like you think it's like a sign. Is he going to try to follow us?
Yeah, because he mentions. Well, you think what do you do with that stuff that he burned up? You think that's some kind of crazy cult thing or something like that? But
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they head on down that road where they think that they're supposed to turn off onto. And eventually, they're gonna pull on up to the old house.
They're pulling on up
to the old house.
And this place is just, it's totally run down. There's no windows. This is ready to be leveled. Totally. So
but
trees
it's
coming
a piece
through
of property. They ain't making no more land.
Yeah, but I guess he just wanted to see because Franklin grew up there.
I think they spent some summers there and all that. So and just again, this is funny. It comes up to a scene where they pull up to it and there's just some weird noises,
right?
And it just
like
sets
metal
the tone
sounding weird kind of,
almost like little cymbals sort of thing. And it's really unsettling.
That was Japanese,
and it's effective.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the things I really love about this movie. It's just, it goes against the grain of so many other things.
Right.
No music, no jump scared thing. With the music and
classic drama.
No explanations for why. Yeah. And that's what I like. They've made so many sequels and things, and I guess they're making a Leatherface origin story now, and
right.
I think it's just so much more frightening when you don't know.
Oh, well, you know what? This is, 1974, the beginning of all these franchise horror movies. Why do you think they've got 10, 11, 12, right. whatever? It's because...
it was 12 years before they even made a sequel to this movie.
Right.
And Tobe Hooper did make it.
Exactly.
And it was, not, in my opinion, not very good.
Yeah.
Well, it
was okay. I thought
he did to his movie what I think Joe Dante did to Gremlins with Gremlins 2. Kind of turned it upside down and almost spoofed his own movie. And and you know what? Bless him. It's his freaking movie. It's his idea. It was his story to begin with. Bless him to do it. I just rather leave this series right here.
Oh, well, yeah. You know what? You get a character like Leatherface. It's just so good. But like I said, they've, before in our, videos and stuff, commentaries, they just always mess it up. They're just trying to make the money off of the character. Yeah. And don't ask me. We've been over this over and over.
Movie theaters. This movie used to be released every year. Maybe around Halloween or whatever. Yep. It used to come out every year. I think I kind of even remember it when I was a kid. And it's just like that one taboo movie you didn't see, and that was the cool thing, being able to go see movies like this.
Oh yeah, man, going to the
I've never seen this theatrically. I've seen a lot of the other classic horror movies theatrically, and I'm glad I got the chance. My favorite one was probably, do you remember the Yorktown Theater?
Oh, yeah.
And which is now like a church, I think. They turned it into a church. But before they closed, they were showing...
Turn vacant theater.
They just showed old movies.
Right.
And they showed a print of The Exorcist. And Exorcist was very rarely screened theatrically anymore.
Yeah.
And it was a perfect print. Not one scratch, nothing.
Really? Wow.
And it was, before they screwed with it and put extra stuff in it.
Yeah.
It was so cool to see that.
I seen it at the drive-in theater. So I remember, and that was the year it came out. I seen it at the theater. So
there's certain movies played for a long time then. God, like E.T. played for a year.
Oh yeah.
Star Wars played for more than a year. I think it went away for a few months and then came back.
That's where they made the money, man.
Now Superman. I remember Superman playing for the first Superman movie was out forever.
Well, they got to rush to get the DVD and Blu-ray out by Christmas.
I know, the average thing is like I haven't seen the new James Bond movie. I figure I better get my butt out there and go see it this week.
Right? Yeah. It's another good one. Yeah, got to see. But
there it is.
Oh well,
we've digressed.
Yes. So they're roaming the house.
They get to the house.
Kirk and Pam get out.
They all take off and leave Franklin behind.
Yeah.
And the poor guy, he can't get in the house easily.
He's getting pissed off, and
because they're all giggling up there.
Yeah, they're having fun upstairs.
Sally! And he's grabbing wood and pulling his wheelchair,
pulling himself through, and
I love when he gets in there. He's just like
the the faces he makes. Yeah, he's pissed off, and he's like a little spoiled.
Come on, Frank, we need to be fun. If I have any more fun, I don't think I'm going to be able to take it. And then I love when he turns, he's going to go through the door, and he cracks his hand into the door. Oh, God! I love it.
This character.
And evidently, he stayed in character the whole time. He annoyed people. He stayed as that character the whole time.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's some method actors, like Daniel Day-Lewis, and I think I even heard, Tom Hardy does that. And
yeah. Well, hey,
that's hardcore, man.
I would have loved to have been on that set, man.
I don't know. It sounded like it was misery for everybody. Well, looking back, now they probably realize they did something great.
If I wasn't doing anything, sitting back. I'd like to be there sitting back in a lawn chair just going, this is awesome.
Oh, you remember that one creepy scene? I think it's Kirk. He goes into one of the rooms, and in the corner, you just hear all this creakling, and it's just a ton of daddy long legs just in the corner. Oh,
yes.
Oh, that gives me the willies.
And
that's the worst part of the whole damn movie to me.
He hates spiders. So that I could see.
Don't get any bright ideas.
But But that's a very creepy, and it's just the camera zooms right in there. You hear them all moving, and the sounds, like you said, just some weird, like.
They just found that. Like they were probably in the house. It's like, oh man, get a shot of that.
Oh, heck
because that's what I would do. Get that. Even though I hate spiders, it's like, get that.
Can you imagine that? Just finding your parts of your movie. Because they didn't put all that together there. It's not CGI'd. It's for real.
Those are real daddy long legs.
It's for real, yo.
And,
anyways,
I think Kirk and Pam, they say, hey, where's that swimming hole you were talking about? We want to go take a dip.
Yeah.
And he always says, there's a trail between them two old sheds.
Like you got Franklin down. I got the father down. So when the father comes in, I'll be getting out. Yeah,
between them two old sheds.
Come on.
Well, my family's from West Virginia, and I swear to God, the accent is not that different from what Franklin's using. I got uncles that sound just like that. I mean, just the inflection.
Yeah.
And accents are funny. I don't feel like I have one. But I know
because you've taken so many courses.
Oh, of course.
I mean, there was a time when people really didn't understand what you were saying.
No, it came out really thick.
Yeah, and it
was English, but it sounded kind of Norwegian.
Right.
It was a mess. I was a wreck. I didn't watch Sesame Street. I didn't know how to pronounce words.
You did watch Electric Company, which was kind of like a Sesame Street.
Yeah, but the volume was down. I didn't understand any of it.
And he would go, hello. Right. You might not get
that. But I needed somebody else's head in front of me, and we would get closer.
Family Guy used to do that.
Did that? Yeah.
He did it.
They
Anyways, yeah. So Kirk and Pam.
Sense, Daddy!
Kirk and Pam go down to the watering hole, and there's not really nothing
there. There's not really a watering hole. There's a hole, but there's no water.
Before that, too, Franklin is in the house, and he sees what looks like, how the hitchhiker guy, the younger, burnt the fire in a picture.
I don't know if it was a dead bird or if it was
looked
something
like there was
put
another
together.
Yeah, it looked like it's like a cult thing, like you're sacrificing something, or witchcraft maybe.
It was sitting on a pillow, and then I don't think he notices it, but there was like a little bone wind chime or something hanging up in the doorway,
right above.
It's not even their house,
right above the thing that was burned.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like. Is that witchcraft? What's he doing? Some kind of cult thing that they passed down, or who knows? Yeah,
they're just sick, man. They're just sick, twisted, crazed from the heat.
Yeah,
and it's just a dysfunctional family.
And then we're going to be getting right into it because it's they go down to the watering hole
and they start hearing a noise.
They don't see nothing.
Generator.
Yeah, but the water ain't there, and they do hear the generator, and
Kirk saying, "Hey, maybe we can trade
gasoline
some gas
or something like that.
A few bucks or whatever, get some gas."
And this is Leatherface's house.
It's the family house.
This is where everything. It's not Leatherface because the father said, "Get the heck in your room, there, Leatherface." Wait till we'll get
the
to
door.
But they're looking all around the property. They're going, "Hello,"
and you see all those cars. There's like a camouflage tarp over them, and I suspect it's like all the cars from people that they've kidnapped and stuff.
Right. What was another movie that was like that? Can you remember? It's on the tip of my tongue.
This movie reminds me a lot of
anyways.
Devil's Rejects.
Okay.
I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is kind of like the Rob Zombie blueprint for all his movies.
You know what? Yeah.
Well, at least his first couple of movies.
I would say so. But yeah, they're walking around the whole property and they're calling out and and meanwhile, Leatherface is in there.
Right.
He's in there. But yeah, they're
looking for the owner's house. Maybe trade for some gas. Cool little tidbit about this house. This house is not in.
Oh, what? I'm just.
Is not in this spot anymore where it was. They actually physically moved the house.
Did they?
Fixed it up, restored it, and now it's a restaurant.
No way.
How would you like to eat in this place?
I would love to eat in this
place. Yeah, I would. But
barbecue ribs.
Yeah, barbecue.
Or some chili.
They actually moved the house somewhere else. And
wow,
it's a restaurant somewhere.
That's pretty cool.
Where. Yeah,
I have to look that up.
I forgot the name of it, but
look it up.
Yeah, let me know if they got good barbecue.
Texas Chainsaw House, moved, restaurant, Google it, you'll find it. And we're going to go there and eat there. And then we're going to film it. And I'll have some chili. He'll have some baby back ribs.
Little Monsters movie podcast,
on the road.
Out in the hood.
We'll visit Leprechaun. Anyways.
Doesn't he like do something? I don't know if he jiggles the door or something, but a human tooth just falls out.
Yeah.
And he just, I'm going to give it to my girlfriend. Here, I got something
for you. Here's a tooth for you. And he throws his jacket over to Bannister.
Does he think he's going to get laid this way?
I guess. I don't know. You know what? They're just so... I think he just wants to get the heck out of it.
And there's another thing that goes against him. None of these kids get any. But they all get killed except for one.
You know what? Yeah, that's kind of puts aside most of what, the horror movies back then were, the slashers and stuff like that. I mean, people were, like Jason and everything. They're all having sex, doing this, that. This is just, man, they're out. They're actually trying to find... This, have you seen Wrong Turn?
Wrong Turn.
If you haven't seen that, Ted, you got to watch that movie too. The first one. Because the other ones that follow...
I think I have.
Very good. It reminds me of this because that's I think what caught my eye when all of the cars were on the outside. Because it was kind of Texas Chainsaw kind. I mean, they killed people, travelers coming through, and anyways,
right.
We'll see that. But okay, so he's hollering through the door, screen door.
I think it opens. He opens it. Goes in.
He just opens up, and says,
"Just
hello.
go in somebody's house." What are you asking for?
Nobody's answering.
Right.
But he walks in.
And I love it. You just see this little room, this little doorway.
Straight.
With all these skulls and bones and things.
Every kind of bone you could think of, from a mouse bone to a deer skull to,
and
on the
he
back
walks
wall.
Up there and, Leatherface with a big hammer. Wham!
Yeah, no.
And it's horrible. I mean, I'm pretty sure they didn't be using fake, hammers and stuff. I mean, they probably had to carefully do this, but...
Right.
And
it looks just so
the blood
vicious.
spurt, and then
big heavy
when he's
hammer
having that
flops.
Little seizure on the ground. Oh, I hate that part.
Yeah, and he pulls him in and
slams that steel door shut.
Yeah, it's like some
and it's quiet. He does it quietly,
very quietly,
no screaming,
and you'll know that there's a little room off the side of where that door is like. And that leads into like a kitchen area.
Yeah, it's like
it's very odd, how the setup. But they've got it set up.
Why does it have a steel door?
They do this all the time.
I mean, they probably have a door at all.
Well, if they're killing people who come and wander in their house,
they're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, well,
Just saying.
Yeah,
I don't know why you have to have a steel door.
Well, there's something I'll ask you about in a few minutes here that I was curious about.
All right.
I think I might have missed, but anyways. But
then my next favorite scene is when she gets off the swing and it's a low shot of her butt as she's walking up to the house, and
it's a good scene.
Yeah, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I paused it for a good 20-30 minutes.
I only needed 5, but
and so she walks walks up the porch. And she's calling out, Kirk, hey.
And she walks into the damn house.
She walks in there, but
except she goes the other way into like a living room,
and it's all dark. I mean, I'm not walking into a
trips and falls into a room full of feathers and bones and weird. This
looks like all kinds of voodoo sacrifices and stuff.
This is the Ed Gein stuff, man.
Yes.
Because Ed Gein would take. He only killed 2 women. He's not a serial killer,
right?
He's probably more likely to be labeled like what they call a ghoul. He was more of a grave robber. He did kill 2 women,
right? That we know of, but I think that's
they only
true.
found he only killed 2 women. What he mostly did was he robbed graves, and he would get parts of corpses, and skins, and he would make things out of them. They found lampshades, wallet belts, like his belt was made out. Yeah,
nipple belt. Yeah.
And it was all women's parts, skulls.
Skull made out of a bowl that he would eat out of. And
so this is what's in this room. Furniture, weird artwork and stuff, jawbones, skulls, and different bones from different animals mixed up and
this is where they show the little chair thing with a skeleton like kind of wrapped around. Very, very... I mean, I'm going to say very cool because I like stuff like that, but I mean...
To walk into somebody's house like that?
Yeah, real life. Oh my God! Come on. Oh yeah. I mean, this is
and this is also another movie where when you see a full skeleton, which I think is at the dinner scene, the classic scene at the end,
right?
It's actually a real skeleton. Because again, I was, I think it was even in the extras of the Blu-ray that it's just cheaper to use real skeletons than to make fake ones.
Exactly.
So we did a podcast on Poltergeist and talked all about the curse because they used real skeletons. And This is another one of those movies. Not all the bones are real, but whenever there is like full pieces of skeleton, full skeleton, it's a real skeleton.
Ugh. Okay, so she's screaming and stuff in this room and hysterical, and
comes running out of that room.
Comes Leatherface, comes right
out
after
that
her.
door, grabs her.
Yeah, because she tries to run out.
Oh, and that part always freaks me out. When she runs out and he comes out and just grabs her. Again, it's broad daylight, but it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So
and pulls her
back in. And so many of these horrible things that happen to people do happen right in broad daylight. You know, like we mentioned on this podcast where we live in Cleveland and Ariel Castro and stuff. I mean, he kidnapped those girls broad daylight.
Oh yeah.
You know, and did these horrible things.
I mean, that's the unfortunate part. I mean, they're feeding off of here any horror slasher movie, this stuff is going on out there, which is the scary part.
But when it's something like Freddy or Jason or Chucky, where it's got a little bit of a
fantasy to it,
a little bit of a supernatural spin to it,
but this is
just
hardcore
torture and horror for the sake of it,
And
I don't want to say, when I say torture or whatever, so much of this movie is left to your imagination.
Right, because I mean, when he grabs her too, he brings her through that room,
right,
and up, and puts her on a spike,
on a meat hook, where you would hang a hunk of cattle or something.
And they don't show insertion of it like they would today,
right?
It's just
they definitely would.
There, and then they just show her flailing about and screaming, and it's a disturbing image.
And then he goes and fires up the chainsaw. It's the first time you see the chainsaw
because Kirk's thrown over the table.
Yeah, he's ready to be hanging up, and he's dead already. And
he's just going to work.
You see the chainsaw going down, and she can actually see some of this before she.
Yeah,
she's not even dead yet. I mean,
no, she's just wriggling around up there.
And again, it's left to your imagination. So much of this, and maybe the reason why people came out of this movie and were so disturbed with it is just because what you can imagine in your mind is worse than what they can show.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing.
That's the artistry of the movie.
Right.
Maybe they were limited by budget or skills or whatever.
I think that's what lended to a lot of these movies back then. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the budget for certain things like nowadays with the CGI and all this other stuff, and they did what they could, and they didn't even know that it would lend to the effect of the movie years and years later. You know,
and I mean it's just for a different audience. I mean, I don't know if kids today would get into this particular movie. I mean, young horror fans. I mean, ones that want to get back into the roots of it and learn where a lot of these newer movies came from. But because it doesn't have the gore, it doesn't have the blood, but let your imagination run wild. And I think the film is just for I don't want to insult anybody, maybe just for a more intelligent viewer. That can let their imagination kind of, fill in the gaps.
Right.
And that's why this movie is so cool. And other movies like the original Halloween, not a whole lot of gore, maybe more than blood and than this movie. But again, let your imagination do it.
Yes.
And that's what's
the creepiness of it,
Yeah, or old Hitchcock movies and things like that, You don't need to see everything.
No, you don't. So, let your mind wander. But so we're back at the...
Yes, that's happened at the house.
They flip back at Franklin's, where the house they're at is, and the van. And
Jerry's wondering where they're. It's getting later in the day. It's been several hours, and they're not back yet.
They went down there by that lake.
The lake. It's a lake.
They went fishing down by the ocean.
Kirk's gonna go. I mean, no, not Kirk. Jerry. Jerry's gonna go look for him.
I'll go look.
And Sally was going to go with him. I think they all just want to get away from Franklin. But then I'm thinking, you're going to leave the poor invalid guy by himself?
Yeah.
He's in the middle of a field of grass. He can't.
Right.
He can't move. What if he's got to go to the bathroom? I mean, who's going to change his diaper and stuff? And but nobody's got anything to eat. And so he says, no, you just stay here. I'm going to go check it out. And he ends up.
And I love the scene, him walking there, and you see the sun is going down.
You're right.
They're setting it up to where night's getting ready to fall.
Right.
So he walks up. He's, I think, hollering, "Hello, anybody there?"
Same deal. He sees Kirk's, I think, blanket or towel or whatever sitting on the banister. So he knows they're around here.
Right. Yeah.
And he starts to hear like some squealing or something coming from in the house.
Let me throw this out there too, because you talk about sounds and stuff, how they played off of it and stuff. I'm not sure if, because I didn't have, the volume was up, but I could have sworn that when they were all three back at the van and stuff, in the background you could hear a chainsaw going. Very, very silent, but I swear I was hearing a chainsaw.
When they're at the van before Jerry leaves?
You know, where he's ended up, because technically he is cutting up.
Right, that's what's going on at the time.
You know, Kirk at the time. And I'm like going, I hear a chainsaw.
Maybe you're right.
So
maybe if I put some headphones on when I get home or something, check it out.
Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, but
that's
what
you're
it
watching
sounded
it on
like.
TV. Sometimes you lose those, unless you have a really great surround sound system. You lose the subtleties of the
But that's what's great with the movie. Like, you know, it's just the sound kind of lends your imagination to, oh my God, he's cutting Kirk up, you know, at the house, and I think I hear it as Jerry's walking to the house. You know,
the soundscape in this movie is just really effective and amazing. So it's one of the things that I think I noticed a little bit more. I've seen this movie so many times, but I think it's just one of the things that I noticed this time that I didn't really notice before. It's just the effective use of sound, and when Jerry, I think it's one of the best.
Yeah, oh yeah, without a doubt. And Jerry does make it, walks in the house after nobody answers and stuff. And
he makes it past the door without getting bonked up.
And you could see the red, like, sheets up, like, that's filled with blood, you know, and the aspects of red. And he makes it to the kitchen.
He's hearing a little noise.
He's hearing boom, boom, boom,
from
boom.
like a huge
floor
freezer.
Yeah. And
opens
Pam's in there.
Yeah, and not quite dead yet.
And this is what I was going to ask you. He knocks Leatherface comes running in. And he knocks Jerry over the head with the hammer.
It's a great hammer.
And he starts looking all around, though. And he's looking everywhere.
I think maybe to make sure that, you know, no one else is around.
No.
Or what if any of his
He didn't see Jerry on the ground. Jerry wasn't on the ground.
So what's he doing?
Did he get away?
No, Jerry didn't get away.
But they don't show him again. They didn't show him on the ground, and he is very upset that he can't find him. He opens up the curtains. He's looking out.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Notice this. Go back and look. And because Jerry is nowhere on the ground, nowhere to be seen. He's looking all over for him, runs to the window, opens it up, looking, and then he's sitting there, and he's all nervous and, like, upset.
See, I always took that scene as he's worried that maybe there's somebody else there, too, and he's running around looking to see if there's anybody else.
Look at the scene when he closes the freezer after he hits Jerry over the head. He looks back down around, and he's looking for Jerry.
Well, I think we got to assume Jerry's dead, though. I think that's cool what you're saying.
Okay, you think about that next time you watch the movie.
I will.
You know, and
I mean, you would think if Jerry wasn't dead, we'd see him again.
That's what was baffling to me, because Leatherface running to that window, looking out the window, and just I saw it as, what happened to this?
Which way did he go,
Jerry?
George? Which way did he go?
Which way did he go? That's what I took it as.
See, I always look at it. He's looking for somebody else. Make sure, you know, because they don't know how many of these kids are out around there. I mean, he's thinking, hell, this has happened. This is 3 times in one day. My luck's going to run out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's to be determined, I guess.
So anyway, tell us what you think.
Yeah, and so we flash back. It's nighttime. When Leatherface is sitting there, though, going like this, and they get a real close-up of him, and then he starts licking his chops.
Those are fake teeth. He had Gunnar Hansen had his dentist make fake teeth, and so, yeah, because actually, another little interesting thing about Leatherface is
he had perfect white line teeth.
I'm talking about Gunnar Hansen now.
Right, that's what I was talking.
Tobe Hooper pretty much gave him free reign to develop the characters he wanted. He had lines, I guess, in the script, but. He just made them gibberish.
Okay.
And he kind of took it that Leatherface was kind of, mentally retarded.
Because you know what? Leatherface in this movie that's what he comes across as.
Like a child.
Yeah,
and so he actually went to like some, at the time, like schools, special schools or whatever, and watched them just to get some of their mannerisms and the way that they, mumble and stuff like that. And he used that in his portrayal of Leatherface.
Ted did his research.
Yeah, I always have to have something for you guys. So, little thing that he did for the character there, because he had free reign to, do it as he wanted to.
And his shirt,
that yellow shirt that he wears, was dyed. So all that blood, all that gack all over it, they could never wash it because the dye would have faded. And I was reading somewhere that by the end of this shoot, it smelled so bad because some of the blood was real blood, like animal blood. They used real animal parts and stuff in that house that he just smelled so bad and so sweaty, as did they all.
Well, and they didn't use deodorant as much as they did nowadays, so I can just imagine.
Neither do I.
Oh, smells like a bed of roses.
Sea breeze.
It smells like chocolate.
Really?
Yeah. Chocolate deodorant. I made it myself.
I just put some stuff under, because you can use
Stuff. That's our last podcast. The Stuff, 1985.
The Stuff.
Check it out.
But it's just like no one wanted to be around anybody because they all just reeked. Because they couldn't change any clothes. 100 degrees every day.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, so back at the van, Sally and Franklin. It's dark. They got the headlights on. They're running out the friggin' battery.
I know. I was going to say that. The battery's about, and they're hitting a horn.
Jerry! I mean, how is that going to bring them any closer?
Yeah, I mean, him and Pam
Franklin does have a flashlight. He's flashing around. Yeah. And she wants to borrow the flashlight. Now what for?
Yeah. She goes, I want to go see. And they're fighting over the...
Yeah, no. And he's right. I don't think you should go. I mean, I would not want to go.
No, I wouldn't. If I was Franklin, I wouldn't want to be there alone with no flashlight by that thing waiting for somebody. And he can't drive. So what he
goes over to the van and he's just like, they took the keys, Sally, we got no keys.
So she ends up actually pushing
They're going to go together. Yeah, she's going to push him, which is really hard.
Oh, and she's going, I can't do this. This is too much.
Now, Sally said, I'll go with you. But yeah, I mean, the poor girl's, and she's doing this for real, guys. I mean, pushing him through the woods at night. And this... it's not like they had like a little path, they probably looked for the path of least resistance to get her through without any tree roots.
I'm sure they flattened it the best they could.
Yeah, right.
And I heard behind the scenes on the extras on the DVD, they said they put ropes on the front of Franklin's legs. Yeah. And she wasn't really pushing them. They were just pulling.
Oh, you're a liar.
I know I am. But anyways.
It's not in the extras. You don't even have any DVDs.
That's true.
Do you? Anyway, do you actually own any?
I have a few.
Yeah, Ultimate Warrior or something like that. Wrestling DVDs or.
No, I got the Charlie Chan DVDs.
Oh, you had to buy those. The ones with Mantan Moreland.
Yep.
Sweet Mantan Moreland.
Sidney Toller, the old Charlie Chan detective.
Yeah, so they're going through the woods.
Yes, they are.
And then all of a sudden,
blue. Leatherface comes up and he's hacking the heck.
Yep. Franklin, the only person that actually gets killed by a chainsaw in this movie. Which kind of makes you wonder why they call it the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Only one person actually gets killed with a chainsaw.
He does everything with it, though.
Well,
he trims.
I wouldn't go and call it a massacre when only one person gets killed with a chainsaw.
5 minutes he's tending to the bushes and the limbs and the trees while Sally's running.
I mean, if you want to, he's massacring the foliage.
I love when Sally gets stuck between the rose thorns and she's stuck.
Yeah, they even said she got all cut up doing it.
Oh my god!
She actually really sliced herself all up doing it. And
can you imagine that?
Gunnar Hansen was actually he's a big dude, but he was faster than her, so he had to slow himself down. And he would just do stuff like you see in the movie where he's just cutting at branches and stuff.
Yeah, I think
just to give her some time to get ahead.
So and the extras, she was still struggling, and the things, and he was off sitting in a cherry just eating a sandwich. He was eating a sandwich, waiting for her to get out, because Toby Hooper said, "Do that. Just sit down and eat a sandwich." And he said, and when he's seen her get out, he put it down and he'd go. So just little tidbits we like to throw out.
Got to give you some good stuff there. He's slicing the hell out of all the sticks and
you gotta. I'm getting hyped up. I'm going. You gotta love, but you don't want to love anything about what's going on. But the cool part is she's running right to the house.
Yeah,
she sees a light back there, and at the doom you're thinking as you're watching the movie.
I mean, where do you think this dude's coming from?
You're running straight to hell.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's what happens. I mean, she runs straight to the house, and I think she's so, in shock that she doesn't know what's going on. So she runs to this house, trying to open doors, thinking that somebody's there, because she's saying help, and stuff like that, and but ends up running to the front of the house. And
gets in, because that door's always open. The front door is always open.
Yeah.
They runs up the stairs.
They have the back door shut, the screen door. And she's not going to punch through the screen.
No. So she runs up the stairs.
Yeah. And
she's smart enough to close the door.
Yeah.
Close and lock the door. And runs up the stairs and comes up into that weird attic room where it's just these two desiccated bodies.
One more, which is the grandmother, who's totally,
and then Grandpa, who ends up being alive. So they just leave him up in the attic. And meanwhile, Leatherface is like trying to saw through the door, which leads to probably like my second favorite part of the movie.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could say,
and isn't there even like a decayed dog or a cat or something up there too?
Yeah, they've got like the stuffed like guinea pig maybe or something.
I don't know, but man, those desiccated bodies are really.
Yeah, they're tending. I guess they think that this is keeping. Grandpa's good. This is nice for him to sit there with a light bulb and staring at the thing because, like we said, he is alive, but he's just sitting there.
Now, the dude that played Grandpa, wasn't an old dude; it was a younger guy, and I guess
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, it's Leonardo DiCaprio, and
in his first thing before growing pains.
It took 6 hours to put that fake makeup on him, and I guess it was so uncomfortable. He said something like, you got to film all my scenes at once. So all the scenes that he's in, and I think it took like 24 hours, or whatever, like a whole day.
Yeah.
And they had to film all his scenes because he was so uncomfortable, and all that latex makeup on him,
and it's that hot there,
right? So they did all his scenes in one day. So all that stuff. But other than
the makeup on that, there looks so
right. Other than that, this movie it's actually just one of a handful that I know of that was filmed from beginning to end, like chronologically.
Right.
Not many movies are done that way. They shoot this scene, put it all together. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is E.T. Because Spielberg thought it was important for the kids to go through that journey to get to the end. So this is one of the other movies that I can think of that was filmed chronologically.
Okay.
But yeah, she, Grandpa's up there, and she takes off down the stairs. She jumps out a window. Jumps out the top window
because he comes coming up the steps. He's
right.
And she.
This is like a 3rd-story window.
Oh yeah. Well, she's hurt
and lands like a damn cat.
Oh my God! And she's just running, and she's top heavy. So her back's really
and like the back of her shirt is all slit down. You can see her back, and she's running through the woods. And
he's chasing.
What's the difference between Sally running here and a sewing machine?
I don't know.
Sewing machine only has one bobbin. Sally's got 2 bobbin.
But yeah, you gotta love.
If you sew, you know what I'm talking about. I sew.
Oh yeah, right. I got. There's some bob. I got.
My wife doesn't sew. I
got a bobbins collection. Hopefully, you guys get that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you gotta love Leatherface. Why he's chasing her and the bobbins are going.
Yep. It's like 2 raccoons trapped in a gunny sack. But one going this way and one going this way. Maybe you know where that's from. And she runs all the way to the gas station,
which must not have been too far either.
Great place to end up.
Yeah, and it's
because Paul's there.
Yeah, Paul was there. What you doing there?
What's the matter, Missy?
What's the matter? Yeah, and
there's nobody out there now.
Yeah, and he's like,
she's hysterical.
And this is where his character, for real. Oh yeah. And his character flips in to go here, and
we don't have a phone.
Yeah, and he's all jittery because I think he's just getting anxious he's got this body here, and he's going to be able to do and torture and do what he wants. You could see the sadist coming out in him.
Yeah, a little bit. He's not as bad as the other. Well,
I think he can get into
the torturing part, but what does he say later on? I just don't take no pleasure in killing.
Yeah, he says that. but we got to do what we got to do. And but yeah, he's going. Let me go get the truck.
Yeah, he's gonna go get the truck.
And meanwhile,
she's back with a sack.
she's looking around this place. That's a good imagery and stuff that's going on in this.
Checks out the barbecue.
Yeah, she sees.
They do focus on that, so maybe you got a point.
All the food is hanging over the fire, going in there that he's barbecuing, that he takes care of, and it looks like they pan to it for a reason. I mean,
I think you're right. They show it for a reason.
He didn't just go to the grocery store and get kielbasa. I mean, he's.
But you can't tell what it is by looking. I mean, it just looks like sausages and stuff.
Well, there's shapes of other stuff. You can't tell. It's your imagination.
Right. But again, that's the cool thing about it. Use your imagination. What do you think?
But so he backs up the truck, opens the door, and he's coming in with a big
rope and a sack.
And she's going, "What are you doing?"
Right. And luckily, there's a knife right there. She picks up the knife, and he's like, "Whoa, now, Missy!" He's ready for it because there's a broom.
There's a broom. And he love the broom. He comes straight at her.
And he starts whacking at her with a broom, and she drops the knife.
She's whacking at.
He knocks the knife out of her.
I think the first or second whack.
Yeah.
And then he's got to keep going.
I mean,
until it breaks it.
Pry it out of my cold, dead hand. It was me.
Especially after everything that happened. I mean,
this poor girl. I don't think I'd have trusted this guy. Because you live that close to that? Come on, you know what's going on.
Well, I think she slowly, by looking around.
Well, when he comes in with that sack and starts whacking with the broom, I think she's got it figured out.
Well, right, and they've got the perfect setup.
They're out in the middle of nowhere.
Out in the middle of nowhere is what really.
And that's the thing. There's no law. I'll tell you what. Where my dad's family lived in West Virginia. They live up in what they call the hollers, or the mountains. And my grandfather's a coal miner. And it is funny, my dad would tell me stories, but I saw it spending summers down there.
Yeah.
That there was never any police. I couldn't even tell you where the police station was. Yeah. It was probably miles and miles away. And my dad used to say that people didn't people just police themselves. If you mess with somebody or mess with somebody's daughter the wrong way, you'd be they wouldn't kill you, but you'd be beat up and thrown in the creek.
Yeah.
And nobody knew nothing. If the cops did come around, nobody knew nothing.
It's a whole different world.
That's what this kind of reminds me of. You're out there.
Ted's childhood.
I spent a lot of good summers. You could go out in the backyard, just shoot off a gun.
Oh, yeah.
All day. Nobody said nothing.
Oh. But anyways, let's see. Where are we?
He's tying her up, knocks her out with the broom.
Because the broom splits, and then, for some reason, he hits her hard. Hits her hard enough on the head, and she falls. It could be shocked. She's fallen out a window.
Boy, this guy would be sorry he messed with me.
But he turns her over, flips over, and ties her arms.
That's what's scary about this. We both have daughters, and it's like you try to tell them, it's like no matter what they tell you,
right?
Fight, yell. The whole time.
Oh, heck yeah.
Make it such a pain in the ass for them.
Yes.
And, this is actually, as a parent, this is kind of scary, because stuff like this could happen.
Yeah.
People get kidnapped and taken.
This is more, like we said, more reality than fantasy.
Absolutely. And that's why it's disturbing. It's not my go-to movie. Let's just put it that way.
No. It's classic horror, but yeah.
I respect it. Yeah. But it's not one I go, you know what? I feel like watching this.
Yeah.
That rarely happens.
When she's laying on the floor, he takes that dirty, bloody, icky rag.
Yeah,
sticks it in her mouth. So on top of his whatever's on
insult to injury.
Oh my God! And ties a rope around her there.
There could be MRSA on that.
Puts the sack over her. MRSA.
Yeah. And he's talking all nice. Now you just calm down. Like she's crying. Now don't do that now.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Oh, don't do it.
And in the meantime, he's taking the stick. And he's going, popping her with it.
Everything's going to calm down.
Yeah,
everything.
For these people that weren't that, active, they got psycho nailed,
Oh my God, yeah.
These people are CYCO. Psycho.
Oh, they did their research because he is total sadist. Torture, he's got her down on the ground.
And the look. They pick such interesting looking people, and
to say the least, yeah.
Some people just have an eye for that,
Oh, and
and he can act to boot.
Right.
So
he's getting off on torturing her,
right?
Her with that
he likes just taking it so far,
yeah, and then stop and
you won't kill her,
comfort her.
He'll take it so far with it. And as they're driving, sure enough, a hitchhiker,
comes running outside. He's holding up his bag and stuff, and he's going, "Yeah, hey, Paul, Dad."
They haven't seen him for a little while. He pulls over. Where you been, boy? I've been on the road.
Yeah, he pulls up, opens the door, stops, and he's out there, and he's pretty much knocking him a little bit.
Yeah, he's smacking him up a little bit.
He goes, "You almost gave us away
all the stories on the radio.
Those darn bodies earlier in that grave."
No, nobody saw me. Nobody saw anything.
Yeah, get the heck back home.
But that old drunk guy did.
He goes. He goes. You let your brother alone there. Get back.
You left your brother alone.
I could have sworn he said your brother-in-law. I could have sworn he said that.
I don't think he would have said brother.
Exactly, but I threw that out there.
Somebody left your
brother in there alone. Get back to that house, and he's jumping.
I love when they finally get back to the house, and you can see the door. It's my next favorite part.
Oh yeah,
besides Franklin rolling down the hill,
he goes, "Oh my God,
look what your brother did to the door."
He can't even take care of his own
house. He sees it all sawed up. Look what your brother did to the door.
Great scene. That's the first thing he's worried about is the door.
Forget that there's like 3 dead bodies in there and all. Hey, look what your brother did to the door.
He can't even respect his own home.
He can't even respect his own home.
It's great. I mean,
oh God! And then when they get inside, he confronts Leatherface, and it's that gibberish when he's talking to him.
Yeah, the whole. He basically Paul is like, yeah, get out of here, and hitting him with his spatulas, whatever he can hit him with and stuff like that. Leatherface and the other one, although the younger one kind of like talks. He's more like I talk back.
He's like the
Paul.
Rebellious teenage son or something.
But yet he's like probably 25. I mean, or he's older. Yeah. But yet Paul's still hitting him, and he's going, "What do you do? Get out of here! I'm going to do what I want to do." And Paul's going, "Get back in there, Leatherface." Well, he didn't call him Leatherface.
And then when he says, "You sure you got them all?" He's yelling at Leatherface, and he's like, "They're here and here." And
how like, he moves like a little child.
You dummy! And he's doing his Fred Sanford or whatever. You big dummy!
You big dummy! But meanwhile,
Leatherface is all gussied up too, isn't he? He's wearing like his black suit and lipstick, and
he's got the mask.
Or he's getting ready to get dressed up. He's got the mask. He's like the housewife.
Well, that's what he does for when he sets up for dinner. But anyways, meanwhile, they're running back and forth in this like the 3 of them in some chaotic like. Weird, like family.
Themselves a little family squabble.
Yeah, just very, very strange and disturbing too. I mean,
and they tie Sally up into a chair, and you notice the chair's got like human hands.
Yeah.
And when he takes the second, he doesn't know who it is. The hitchhiker guy.
Yeah.
He takes off, and then he recognizes her. And she sees him and just freaks.
Her eyes.
And he starts pointing. I thought you was in a hurry.
Yeah. But you came back. We see you. And Paul's still hollering at him in the kitchen. What? You. And he's and then
go get your grandpa.
Go get your grandpa.
So this is the classic Last Supper kind of scene of the movie.
Yeah.
And.
Well, you gotta like Leatherface's wig here in this scene here going on.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's like some.
And they call him. It's the first time where they say, "Hey, Leatherface, come help me with Grandpa." I mean, it's the first time they ever used that name in here. Otherwise, they would have all been nameless.
Oh.
And so he's gonna go drag Grandpa in the chair down the stairs, and Leatherface helps him.
He tells him, go get Grandpa, and
time for supper.
The younger one goes up there and pulls him to the top of the steps. And he says, "Get over." I don't know if he says Leatherface.
Yeah, he does. Hey, Leatherface, help me with Grandpa.
Help me with Grandpa. And he goes up there, and
they just carry him down in the chair.
Yeah, and
put him at the head of the table.
Yep.
Because he is still the Potter familia.
and I don't know at this point. I'm not sure, like what they're. I think they're just having. I don't know if they're having fun with her or what, because. Paul is kind of like it's dinner time,
sadistic,
and they're making the table, but yet Leatherface wants to kill. So does the other younger one, and Grandpa's just coming in enjoying it, But I'm not sure, what really goes on until we do get to what happens. But
they're sitting at the table, eaten.
Yeah, jump
and you don't know what they're eating.
Here a bit.
What? They bring him down.
Well, they do.
And they end up. I think the ungag her, and she's screaming, and
right,
and she's doing the usual, I'll do anything you want.
I think she passes out, and then when she's at the table, and
she wakes up and sees her at the table.
Yeah, Grandpa's right at the head of the table down there,
and these little human sausages or whatever it is they're eating there. And we presume.
Oh, they made her a plate. Yeah, she got a little.
Oh yeah, even though her hands are tied, she can't eat it.
Little thing of lemonade, It's all pretend. Lemonade. Grandpa, we got a woman with us tonight,
right? And they start arguing at the table. The young punk son, you're nothing. You're nothing. Me and Leatherface, we do all the work.
And that's
meaning the killing.
Right. And that's when he goes insane.
I just don't take no pleasure in killing.
Yeah.
And you do what you got to do, and she's freaking out and just screaming the whole time.
Yeah.
And eventually they just get to a point where it's like, there's no point prolonging this anymore. Let's just do it.
Yeah. And the younger one goes, hey, why don't we let Grandpa do it?
Yeah. Now, see, I think if they were going to make, I think I said this in a previous podcast, if they are going to make another Texas Chainsaw movie, make one about Grandpa. Don't call it Texas Chainsaw, nothing. Just call it Grandpa.
Oh, good idea.
And... yeah.
Because there has to be an origin to all of this.
You want to do that? Do that. Do something different. Don't focus on friggin' Leatherface all the time.
Right.
Because I'm interested in Grandpa. That guy sitting up there with a desiccated body who everyone said used to be the best killer.
Exactly.
Let's see what the old guy could do. And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see that. We've seen enough movies of Leatherface. Let's see what Grandpa can do. And just call it Grandpa.
It's a good point.
No Texas Chainsaw, nothing until Grandpa. You go see the movie, you'll find out what it's about.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Why don't this stuff happen, Ted?
Because they don't put us in charge of making movies.
I know. That would be awesome. But yeah, so they let Grandpa. Well, first they bring Grandpa to her. They got this big metal bin because of what. Yeah. But they slice her finger.
They really cut her finger in that part.
Did they?
Yes, they really cut her finger because they couldn't get the fake blood to work right, so they actually cut her finger.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if Grandpa's actually sucking that real blood or not.
Because she takes, after they cut that, stick it in his mouth, and he's sucking on it, and you can hear him going... you can hear him sucking the blood on a finger, and he's enjoying it, and he's moving.
They're going to let Grandpa take a whack at it.
Do you love this? When he's sucking it, you can see his arms and legs are going like this, kind of flailing. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, okay, check us. Well, you get the video upload too. So, okay, never mind. I was going to say, check us out on YouTube because the video there is a little bit clearer than the one on iTunes. So if you are on iTunes, check us out on YouTube because you get a bigger... more high definition screen. You could watch it in detail if you want to see us a little bit.
Beautiful wide screen.
Yeah. So, but anyways, his arms and legs are flailing.
Yeah, he's digging it, isn't he?
And
then that's where I think she passes out, like you were saying, and then she wakes up and they're at the table and that's when we start getting a little squabble. Me and him do all the work. Okay, that's when that happens.
Okay, so I jumped ahead. Yeah,
and remember. On the table or hanging above the table are these lamps. Light bulbs hanging out, and the covering over the lamps are people's faces.
Yes.
With their lips stitched shut and
Ed Gein. Yeah.
Exactly. Totally. Exactly. Just, eerie. There's a full skeleton in the corner. That's a real skeleton from everything that I've been able to find. And just how weird. How weird would it be to make a movie and you got somebody's real bones over there?
Can you imagine the set decorator for this movie?
Yeah. Let's throw some shit over here.
Let's kill. Okay, we're going to kill about a dozen chickens.
Kill all them armadillos and throw their corpses.
Yeah, we're going to throw them all in there, feather them, pluck them out. Because the room at the beginning when they enter the house is just filled with
and the things that are on feathers. The table, there's just like a little... it's not... Just a little thing on the table with a chicken head on it. I remember that I'm watching. I was like, what the? Because when you've seen a movie so many times, sometimes, like when we do the podcast, I'll watch it and just kind of look at the background, look at the details. I know what the story is. Right. I know what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
So I try to, look at the background and see what's going on in the background.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you're just not paying attention. You're watching the characters and what they're talking about. You're not watching the lampshade that's got some human face on it all stitched up.
The skeleton that's hanging in the back with the light bulb in the middle of
the inside the chest. Yeah, inside the chest.
I want one of those.
What's on the table and I'm just looking at the weird stuff they hung around.
I wish we could use some of that for the set.
Yeah, maybe we could go get some animals from outside and just... You'd probably stink it up a little bit.
I know a taxidermist.
We got some skulls over there. They're real.
We have some skulls. Yes, we do.
Yeah, we dug those up. We dug those up.
Classic scene where they start prodding her and everything like that in her face, and they start getting a close-up of her face and her
and they're all getting in her face, like when Leatherface starts. Like that classic poster.
Yeah, like the image of her eye and just how they get real close because they're trying to show you.
The fear in her eye.
And terror that she's going through right now, and they keep flashing the paw. He's toothless, laughing,
and everyone's just kind of laughing. And Leatherface gets all close to her, and this is getting to be the end, man. Because it's like we said before, no point prolonging it. Yeah. Let's do it. And that's when they get the metal wash bin bucket out, whatever.
Right. And then they pull her up to...
And then, I've been thinking, we got to let Grandpa do it. You're always saying he's the best. Yeah. Yes, sir, he was.
Yep.
And they talk about, I think they're talking about when he worked at the slaughterhouse. They said, he killed, what did he say, 6 in 30 seconds.
Right, yeah. He could really whale the sledgehammer.
Wow,
Foomp! Foomp! Wow.
Wow. See, that's the movie I want.
Oh.
Sicko dude working at the
slaughterhouse
and
coming back home. Yeah. Oh yeah. Grandpa.
Wow.
Maybe we'll make.
And what would the grandmother have been like?
We're gonna put a Kickstarter up.
What would she have been like? Does somebody want to get on it, man?
Yeah. So they pull Grandpa.
I know nothing about making movies.
We don't need to.
No, we made a Halloween movie once.
Yeah.
We'll put it up there.
We know what we're doing, and
right.
But when
we don't have a podcast, we'll just throw that up there. That'll lose us some more subscribers. Y'all didn't like the one with our kids. It's not even up there anymore.
It's on our other site. Anyways.
I had to take it down. WTF is this? You bastards.
Had to be done. Anyways.
It's just an experiment. Failed.
They're like, what the heck is he talking about?
You'll never know.
Anyways, they bring Grandpa and Sally together.
They're untying her, bringing her over.
They push her head down
scene
over
just goes on
a
too.
bin.
The whole dinner thing, man, it is not a short scene, man.
No.
They really drag out the tension.
Yeah.
And to this crescendo.
When they finally put her to Grandpa, they put a hammer in his hand.
And she doesn't even have any fight left in her.
Oh, no.
She's screaming, but physically, there's just no fight left. And you're being dragged to die in this horrible way.
Ugh.
To have your head bashed in a bucket and then be eaten.
Just taking chunks out. I mean,
and Grandpa keeps dropping the hammer. Yeah. He's so weak. He's about 100 years old.
And they're up there going... They're all just excited about this.
And the makeup isn't that great. I mean, it's for the 70s or whatever.
Yeah, you can see the eye kind of underneath the latex.
But it's just so surreal looking. The way he looks. It makes him look older than what, he's probably supposed to be.
Right.
And, I mean, I love... The fact that it isn't that great makes it great. Because it's just the surrealness of it. Is what I'm getting at. The deep set eyes and all that. And the pallid skin and when he just goes, the weakness that he's showing, he keeps dropping the damn hammer.
And then he slowly gets the strength.
Yeah, he gets that one good hit.
He starts getting excited,
Right.
Even being half dead and 100.
And he gets her once, and you see a good chunk. He splits her head there.
And Paul's jumping up in the background.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't want to do the killing, but he ain't got no problem watching it.
Yeah.
Kill that bitch! You know, and she somehow gets away.
Adrenaline gets her hands kicks loose. In, yeah, and she goes running out the front door.
Right. Or the window. She jumps out the window, like living room window.
Okay.
And dawn is about to break. And,
this went on all
they were really
long, man.
What a day. What a 24 hours, man.
And she's
I'd be like, I don't want that day back.
No, I wouldn't think so. I mean, would you?
And no, but I mean, just how horrible. You know, you have this. I mean, if you've seen the film, you know she's the lone survivor of this ordeal, and that's how a lot of these horror movies were. You had that one, you know, Friday the 13th had one, Halloween had one. You get that lone female survivor who's just completely traumatized.
Oh yeah,
you know, and you know, never to be the same. She's taken off down, you know, the driveway, whatever,
all the way to the street.
And I think they are completely confident that they can catch her because they're just, you know,
oh yeah, they're like playing with her.
Exactly.
Like the younger ones just keep slicing her with his little knife, like the back, like.
But I mean, she's running out by the highway. I mean, it's like they don't even care.
Well, they probably
Leatherface is coming down there with the chainsaw.
They probably know that traffic really never ever comes by here, and just so happens
that the Black Maria comes by.
Black Maria, yeah, big old semi comes by.
One of the best scenes in the movie when hitchhiker guy gets run over. She breaks away from him while the Black Maria is coming down, the big semi truck, Black Maria.
Yeah.
And they even put out, like when it came out on Blu-ray for the 40th anniversary, they had a special edition called the Black Maria.
Really?
Edition.
Okay.
And if you didn't know the movie really well, you probably didn't even know what that meant, but it came in the big semi truck.
Black Maria.
And he stops to say, "Oh my God, just run over a guy." And he goes out there and then, and I love, he comes out. All right, and he sees Leatherface coming. He turns immediately around and runs back and gets her. He pulls her up into the truck, but they get out the other door.
That's what's funny, though.
Why didn't he start driving away?
That's what I don't get. Because he could have just started up and took off because the thing was shut.
Right.
And he wasn't getting in.
Yeah, he was trying to cut through the door, but I would have just drove through.
Yeah.
But, they get out the other side and run.
Start running down the street.
Which is stupid.
Yeah.
But because of that, you know, and when he gets out of the truck driver grabs a pipe wrench or whatever.
Yeah, pipe wrench.
And he just takes it and chucks it at Leatherface, cracking the head.
It makes Leatherface fall down. The chainsaw falls down onto his leg and starts cutting the meat. And you can see the meat.
How they did that is they had a metal plate on his leg and they put like some kind of just dead animal meat there.
Okay.
So that is real flesh getting cut through, but he had to be careful because that metal plate right there.
Man, what they went through for this movie.
Yeah, and then another pickup truck comes by. What happens to the truck driver? Does he just keep running? I think he keeps bolting.
Yeah.
And she gets into the back of the pickup truck, and it takes her forever.
Oh, yeah.
To get in
the strength to get in there, but she flops herself in there, starts flying off, and he's doing some dance with the
it's
chainsaw.
Just that frustration. It's like a temper tantrum, I think.
Yeah, and she's like hysterical laughter kind of thing going on because she's
covered in blood,
going away. It looks like Carrie from the movie.
Yeah, the sun is coming up,
and Ted.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there flailing that thing around. He's so angry and frustrated. And
what the heck happens?
Movie just cuts off.
But what the heck happens to that truck driver?
I don't know. I think he just took off.
But he didn't jump in the pickup truck.
No, he did not.
Well, I guess the guy got run over, the younger one. Leatherface cut him. He's dancing there. Paul's back at the house. So, I mean, I guess he can get away.
And I always kind of wondered, you know, take away all the sequels. I mean, these guys...
Take them all away?
You know, they got to get picked up by the cops. I mean, if I was this girl, I'd be going immediately to the police.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but... You know, I guess you could say maybe some of them got away. But then you get into the other movies, and I haven't even seen them all. I saw Part 2.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw... I saw Leatherface once. I don't think I ever saw, like, the New Generation or Next Generation with Matthew McConaughey. I never saw that.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen that one either. And I hear it's very bad.
And I did see the remake, and maybe... But again, you know, it's just... It didn't do as much for me, you know.
No, this we're talking about this movie, and this movie is classic, you know, and
just the way that it ends, man, with that swinging,
chainsaw
and then cut.
I mean, iconic,
no resolution,
iconic in every way. I mean, no resolution because Leatherface technically he's still alive. Paul's there.
Yep, they all are, man, except for Hitchhiker.
Yeah, so
flat.
You know,
he's a greasy spot on the road. They'll probably scrape him up and bring him back in, make lunch.
Well, in part 2, he wasn't alive. Why am I thinking all 3 of them were
There's
there
different
again?
family members in part 2. You still have Paul, the old man, making his chili.
Right.
You still have Leatherface.
Yeah.
But then you have like Chop Top, which was played by Bill Moseley.
Okay, so
remember with the he was always he had the metal plate and he's always taking the coat hanger and lighting it up and.
But he was supposed to be like the Hitchhiker's character. I mean, he looks just like him.
Yeah, but it's not him. It's just other family members, and it's just not. But you know what? It is what it is, and it's got Dennis Hopper in it, so it's not a complete loss.
Oh,
but
it's been a while. I'm going to have to revisit part 2 again.
It's more of a dark comedy spoof.
Yeah.
Almost like a deconstruction of what the first one was.
Right.
Which is fine, Joe Dante did it with Gremlins too. Like I said, it just whatever. It is what it's got its fans, so no doubt about that.
Exactly.
But I don't know. My opinion is most of the time with these great films, you just leave it after the first one, and I know the tendency is for the sequel and the money building franchise and all that. But how great to just it was 12 years before you ever had another one. Whereas like Halloween, you had like 3 years.
Right.
So
this one, it took a little bit longer. I mean,
but this made a lot of money. It was before Halloween. I think this was the highest grossing independent film.
Okay.
And like I said, it had a storied history. I mean, it was released in the States without any problem. But I know in England and I think in Germany, it was banned up until maybe the 2000s.
Sure.
Before. And again, very
before
little
the wall
gore.
came down.
Oh.
Well, they were
when the wall came tumbling down. I think it was after that. But in England, it went back and forth, and so and there's other countries where, again, not much gore, not much blood, but just disturbing. The images that it evokes from you.
That's just as bad. I mean, in my opinion, it can be just as bad. I mean,
surprising though. I mean, because you just have to kind of go by what it shows you.
Yeah.
And in this case, they went a little bit harder against it, I think. And he did make some concessions, I think, and even made some cuts. But here in the States, it wasn't really a problem. He always, I think, got to see it the way that it was supposed to be seen. And fantastic film. I really.
Oh yeah.
It's not one that I like to revisit very often.
Right. I mean, if you're a horror fan, you need to see it once or whenever.
It does its job, and it does it well.
Yes.
And there's a handful of horror films I think that like are disturbing.
Right.
I'm not a religious person, but like I said, I find The Exorcist disturbing.
Right.
I don't watch it very often. I own it, but I don't watch it very often. I do really like it.
Same here.
Shining, I watch a little bit more often, but that gives me the willies the whole time.
Yeah.
It just got that unease the whole time. And this
psychological.
Texas Chainsaw,
I mean, it's the stuff that gets in there. You know what I mean?
And I think those are the ones that bug me the most.
Yeah.
So.
Not to mention the daddy long legs in the corner.
That don't do it for me. That don't do it for me.
Oh well. But anyway,
we hope you guys liked this one, and we did one that everybody's seen, so you got our little take on it.
And we threw it out there, Gunnar Hansen dying, and rest in peace again.
Right,
it's
and he's been in a bunch of other movies too. I mean. But he played Leatherface many times.
Yeah.
So
we just want to just do a little,
little thing for Gunnar.
Thing for one of the better horror flicks of all time. Yeah. I think one up there.
Now next week we said we're going old, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go older. We'll let you know. We'll keep you posted, but we're gonna go a little older next time.
We're going old school.
Yeah. So we'll let you guys know and check out everything. I haven't thrown this out there in a while. It's the end of the show, but Facebook. Hey, search the Little Monsters Movie Podcast on everything. iTunes, YouTube, Facebook.
That's right.
And
there might be some big news coming up soon.
Yeah, we may be on I think we are Mutual Broadcasting Network. If you look, I'll post times on our website, which is www.thelittlemonstersmoviepodcast.com.
That's right.
Kind of long,
we're
but
the number one.
You'll get it.
Horror movie podcast this day, this time slot.
Yep, in the world.
This country.
Yep.
This,
definitely number one.
This neighborhood
in China, definitely.
In China.
So with that,
and I think Estonia, we're pretty big over there too.
Estonia, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sweden. Got to get it on it.
And I think Micronesia, they really like us.
Yeah. In Bedrock,
Bedrock, we are
real big there.
Yeah,
Just because my name's Dino too, so
that's right.
But anyways, old school next week, and we hope you enjoyed. And see you later. Bye.